Hey Jake, how are we today?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good. When did you start getting interested in music?
I grew up listening to a lot of like country music and like Irish folk stuff with my dad a lot in the car. So then I was always interested in like Johnny Cash and stuff. So then when I was like maybe 13 or 14, I asked for a guitar for Christmas. So I got this nice little beginner friendly guitar and I never played it for like 6 months. So then I picked it up like a couple of months later and kind of just learned all the Johnny Cash songs, and you learn all the beginner chords. And I did music in secondary school, though I wasn't very good at it. But that's kind of how I got my start, and I liked writing songs. I grew up with a lot of Johnny Cash, and I grew up with like Christy Moore, and like a lot of like Irish folk Dubliners, and Luke Kelly especially was like always one I really liked when I was younger. And then when I grew up then, and I got my guitar, I learned all the Johnny Cash songs, and then I found Bob Dylan through that. And he was like my artist, so, because I found him on my own, there's no like person who showed me Bob Dylan. So I started getting really into him, and it kind of combined like history, because he's like significant for the 60s and like counterculture and stuff. Combined history with like music, and there were two things I was really into at the time. I still am. So that was kind of cool, and then you kind of grow out from there and get into the Beatles and other artists. I like George Harrison especially from his time in the Beatles and his solo stuff.
When did you realise you wanted to do something like this for a living?
I think I left secondary school and I wanted to do journalism, and I wanted to go into sports writing. But then like my first year in college was like during COVID, and it was all online, so it was just like a really bad time. I dropped out of Christmas. I just didn't want to do it. And then like I was kind of talking to my mum, and she's just like, "What do you want to do?" And I said, something in music would be cool. And I played guitar and stuff and liked writing music, but like never as something outside of like only a hobby. So I kind of found a little like music performance course in LCFE in Limerick, and that was really fun. I met like really cool people. So once I did that, I was able to go into like music tech, and I got into like the production side, and especially the mixing side and the audio. And I felt like that was something I could make a career out of, because I was good at that kind of stuff. And I think it's hard to make a living out of it. It's something worth trying for, like.
How would you describe your genre of music?
I'd say folk oriented, like with all the influences like Bob Dylan and Johnny Cash and stuff. You get a lot of that American traditional stuff, which I really like. But it's also like you have to try and modernize it and make it its own thing, and I like kind of rootsy Americana stuff. So I don't know how to like describe. I don't really believe in genres. Like genres are really kind of gone nowadays, because you have so much like fusions of different genres. So putting one name to something is always really hard. I try to make music that's fun, that I find fun and like kind of carefree. I don't want to be too serious all the time, but sometimes you want to make a cool serious song. I don't know, fight the power. But yeah, I think I'm trying to make vibes is what I look for. I make music for vibes.
Dope.
It's never cloudy, never rain. She causes no anger, she causes no pain. She treats me kind.
Do you think your 4 years at college has aided your musical abilities?
I think it's definitely been really helpful, because you meet different people. Like people in our college class are from all over Ireland, and they all bring different like influences and stuff. Especially with like, I don't think I would have got into like synths and more kind of hip hop influenced like production or styles if it wasn't for some people in our class, especially people like Joe, who was like like if you ever like watch his workflow of just like messing around with a track, it's really really cool and interesting. And then you have people like Adam, and like he kind of takes some stuff I like and brings more pop kind of production style into it, and he showed me a lot of stuff. And then you have all the teachers and what they bring, and like to show you how to actually do something properly, and then you kind of find your own way how to do it, because who wants to do stuff properly? So I feel like that all kind of morphs into a big influence, and how it kind of shapes you as a person, how you want to approach your kind of craft, be it songwriting or production or mixing or something like that. You're always going to have your own individual style, which I think is based on like the people you meet.
So what direction would you go for a career?
I think I'm best with mixing. Is what I like doing most. But being like a standalone mixer from the people I've talked to is really really hard. So you have to kind of be you have to be good at loads of things but a master of none of them. So it's kind of, I forget what the phrase is called. So I wanted to go into mixing, and then like if you go into mixing you can kind of do sound engineering and working with sound for film and TV and stuff. And then there's always like recording and working with bands and stuff, and I think I'd love to do something specifically working with music and bands. But like if I could do TV and get a nice job out of it, I think you'd happily take it. And if you can do things on the side, it's always beneficial. Let it go.
If you could go back to first year you, is there any advice you'd give yourself?
I'd say talk to people more. I'm a bit socially socially cautious, which is a cool way to put it. So I think like I didn't kind of start talking to a lot of like the other, because our class was in 2 groups, so I didn't kind of talk to the other group until like maybe only last year. Yeah. So like I think I would have wanted to be more outgoing, but that's always hard. Yeah, I think that's like, I'm happy how I approached it. I think probably like get more involved in what's going on and like gigs and stuff. I think that would have been cool.
Are you glad that you chose this course?
Yeah, definitely. I think like the people you meet really cool people, and it kind of shapes you up to. It shaped me up to what I want to do for, I don't know, the next while anyway, until I get another idea in my head about something else. And it kind of like I met cool people over the 4 years, so I'm happy. I have no regrets. In the lonely night, in the shadows of a pale blue light, I think of you in black and white, when we were made of dreams. I walk along through these shaky streets, I'm listening to my heartbeat in the